Have you ever wondered how our body breathes? Well, fasten your mental seatbelts, because we're going on a journey through the human respiratory system. First up, the nasal cavity. Air is drawn in through the nostrils, and the nasal cavity is the first pit stop. Here, the air is warmed, moistened, and filtered, preparing it for the journey ahead. Next, the air travels through the pharynx, commonly known as the throat. This is where the pathways for food and air cross. But don't worry, a little flap called the epiglottis ensures that food doesn't take the wrong turn down the windpipe. Moving along, the air enters the larynx, or voice box. This is where the magic of speech happens. The larynx houses the vocal cords, which vibrate to produce sound when air passes over them. From the larynx, the air moves into the trachea, or windpipe. The trachea is like a tree with its branches reaching into the lungs. It's lined with cilia and mucus that trap any unwanted particles that have made it this far. The trachea divides into two bronchi, one for each lung. Each bronchus branches out into smaller bronchioles inside the lungs, spreading the air throughout. Within the lungs, the air finally reaches its destination, the alveoli. These tiny air sacs are where the real action happens. Oxygen from the air diffuses into the blood, while carbon dioxide, a waste product, diffuses out of the blood and into the alveoli. The diaphragm, a muscular sheet located below the lungs, controls the flow of air. When it contracts, it creates more space in the chest cavity, drawing air into the lungs. When it relaxes, it pushes air out of the lungs. Meanwhile, the pleura, a two-layered membrane, surrounds each lung. The thin layer of fluid between these layers reduces friction as the lungs expand and contract. And let's not forget the supporting cast, the respiratory muscles. The intercostal muscles between the ribs, along with other accessory muscles, lend a hand in expanding and contracting the chest cavity. Finally, the carbon dioxide-laden air is expelled from the body during exhalation, and the whole process begins anew. And who's the maestro conducting this symphony of respiration? The respiratory control center in the brainstem, which adjusts the rate and depth of breathing based on factors like oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the blood. So there you have it. The fascinating journey of a breath, from the nasal cavity to the expulsion of carbon dioxide. It's the perfect illustration of how the body's systems work together to keep us alive and well. And remember, every breath you take, every moment you're awake, your respiratory system is working tirelessly to keep you going.